Hello, everybody, and I am back for my 15th, 14th bi-weekly reader. God damn it. uh, and I am excited to talk to you about the books that I read these past 2 weeks. Sorry for the delay in getting this video out, but I lost for some reason, the audio got lost in the recording thing, in actually uploading the video, and so I just had to re-record it. Anyways, so let us talk about what I have read, and then we'll get on to what I am currently reading. So, first things first, I read Sailing to Sarantine. What a fantastic book this was. I really enjoyed the prologue, and the rest of this book just got even better from the prologue. I truly did not expect this book to be as fantastical as it was. Because I read A Song for Our Bond, I think right before this channel started, and it had minor elements of fantasy, but it wasn't that fantastical, if you know what I mean. But here, we got so many beautiful, honestly, some of the best fantasy moments that I've ever seen. Some of the best use of the fantastical. In its usage, we see so much depth. In the fantastical inspires, and it also asks questions. I mean, it's that sense of the unknown, you know? And with this book, we really get that feeling. We get that feeling of where is everything, and what is our place in this world, and how can I illustrate this feeling of where I am. We follow Crispin, the mosaicist, and he's such a fascinating character. We see that he has a good heart, and that so much of what he does is for the art. He's a passionate man in a court filled with deceit. And it's so fascinating because he constantly contrasts so many of the people around him. He contrasts normal people who simply deceive. He contrasts the noblemen who deceive. He contrasts so many different people because he's passionate, and more than just passionate, he is genuine. And I think that's so fascinating. I love that kind of character. He's just such a genuine character. And I absolutely loved that. And everything that this book has to say on art and the importance of art in religion, or all these things, and the way we get these moments where Crispin has to outsmart a different faction or a different person. We actually feel like Crispin is super fucking smart, because he just, like, he pulls the smartest things out of his ass, and it's so cool, and it's so satisfying too. I don't know how to explain it, but, like, you see the cogs working, you see the points, you see the things that he's doing, and then he finally pulls it off, and it's like, oh, that was smart, that was really smart. And it's just so cool. And so many character payoffs toward the end of this book. And I should also mention, this is part 1 of 2. This was originally written as one book, and then it was split up into Sailing to Sarantine and Lord of Emperors. So it's a duology called the Sarantine Mosaic by GGK. I probably should have said that earlier, but you can obviously read that. I just thought Sailing to Sarantine was absolutely brilliant, and I cannot wait to get to Lord of Emperors. I should be starting this in a couple days. October 7th is when I'm said to start reading Lord of Emperors with Sid from Professional Bookworms. There we go. And it's such a, I'm so excited because it's going to be such an awesome experience because based off the first book was amazing. This book, like, this is brilliant. Oh my god. And considering this is only part 1 of 2, I really want to see where this goes. And I don't know if I'm doing this right. I don't think I am. But like these two covers, can you see that? No, it's the other way around. That's weird. Hold on. That's really weird. Huh. Anyways, look at this. I love how these two covers work together and you see like they are part of one whole. Like you get this thing in the middle where they're like together. They come together and then these are two different sections. I just love these covers. Uh-oh, there we go. I loved these covers and I cannot wait to continue this duology and finish it off because GGK is genuinely a brilliant writer, especially from Song for Arbonne. Man, the ending for A Song for Arbonne was absolutely brilliant, and I cannot wait to see what he pulls off with Lord of Emperors here. And so, what else did I read? I finished The Veiled Throne. Finally, I know I've been talking about reading this for many, many months now, and I have not read it. But here I am. I read it, all of it, and I have mixed thoughts. Some parts of The Veiled Throne are absolutely brilliant. They, like, some of the best fantasy, some of the best stuff I've read ever. This has such incredible highs to the point where it's like, wow, it's impeccable. And the ending to this book, like the last chapter or two, are just brilliant. I loved everything it has to say about the importance of stories and histories and cultures and making us who we are. And I'm so excited to see what Speaking Bones is going to do for this. Because originally, and by the way, this is the 1,000-page book, and so is Speaking Bones. Keep this in mind as I tell you this. Speaking Bones and Veiled Throne were originally one book. One 2,000-page behemoth. I've never seen a book like that. And that's just insane to me. And so that was split up, and this is now Veiled Throne, and the next book is Speaking Bones, and I hope to read... Well, I'll explain the Speaking Bones thing soon. You'll see. I have an insane plan for what's going to happen in November and December, but you got to hear it first. So, let's start just talking about Grace of King, or not Grace of Kings, Veiled Throne. So, Wall of Storms actually disappointed me. I was very disappointed because Grace of Kings is one of my favorite books of all time. I love Grace of Kings to bits. And the Veiled Throne, honestly, I think is a huge step up from Wall of Storms. I absolutely adore all the plot points here. I love all the characters, especially Savo. Savo, I think by the end of this, I mean, he already is my favorite character, and I think he's going to maintain his favorite character status from here until the end of Speaking Bones. And I loved so many aspects of the things that happened in this book. The start, especially, the beginning was fantastic. I do think that the prologue, because we had 4 sections, and I believe the first is called The Turtle with the Message Shell, or something like that. Hold on. It's called Buried Seeds. And while that first section was really smart and has a lot of great payoffs, I think it dragged on a lot. Then with the second part, I think we got genuinely some of the best fantasy out there. I loved the fantasy, the politicking. Ken Liu continues to have the highlight of his books be the politics. And then we jump into part 3, and then we get mixes of all over the place. And I loved pretty much every little bit we got. And like I said before, Savo, his stuff was brilliant. I loved every chapter he was in, every page he was on. But I do have to say, a lot of my criticisms with this book is that it's 1,000 pages. And I'm starting to learn that I've been spoiled. A lot of the 1,000-page books I've read, I feel have earned 1,000 pages. Because they've gotten me invested in the characters, they've done the legwork. And while I like the characters here, I do not love the characters enough to watch a cooking competition. I don't. I really don't. That's something I learned today. I was not invested in these characters enough to want to read a cooking competition about them. Also, to be fair, when it comes to cooking competitions, you need the visual aspect, in my opinion. You can't, and I have, I think it's not anesthesia. It's, aphantasia, I think, where I cannot picture images in my head very well. And so that was one of the most boring, dreary, awful segments I've ever read. And I don't think it's because of Ken Liu's fault. It's not Ken Liu's fault, in fact. I think he did great stuff there. But, oh my god, I hated it. Like, honest to God, I didn't want to keep reading with those. I did not enjoy my time with many of those segments. Because if I'm gonna watch a cooking competition, let me see the food! Let me be happy! Let me, have an eye candy feast, please! That's what I love about food. I love to see it! And, think, what are, I love to think, ooh, how must that taste? But I can't see it, so I can't enjoy it, and I really, really was not happy with that. So, that, I think, if I had any special critique for this book, is that it does not need to be 1,000 pages long. Everything that it does is well done, but I think a lot of stuff could be trimmed. I'd say, I want to say 200 to 300 pages probably could be trimmed. Honestly. And maybe you can disagree with me. Tell me if you've read Veiled Throne. And if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear it. But I honestly think that while this is a brilliant book, there is no doubting that. Has a brilliant climax. It has brilliant moments all throughout. It should have been trimmed immensely. This was unreasonably long, in my opinion. I don't typically criticize length. Maybe it's just because I'm not invested in the characters as much as I'm expected to be, which is a fair and valid criticism for me. But I just don't think this was worth 1,000 pages. Sorry, I said that wrong. It is worth 1,000 pages. It shouldn't be 1,000 pages. This could be much more curt in how it handles all these aspects. It could be much more concise. I think it really beats around the bush in a lot of aspects, and it felt like we're wandering. Oh my god, I feel like I have no opportunity to speak because Realm of the Elderlings is so much wandering, but I also feel like there was genuinely zero progress made in a lot of these chapters. And maybe I'm wrong, but not in a lot of these chapters, especially the Master Chef chapters is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the cooking chapters. And I don't know. Tell me what you think, but I do think this should be trimmed. I do genuinely believe that a lot of this, there's a lot of fat in here that we don't need, and we could have trimmed it. I also think that, especially at the very start, we had that first part, and I think that that segment could have been trimmed down a lot. I feel like it was way too long. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I know I'm being very negative, but that's really the only thing I'm going to criticize about this book, because it was amazing. Truly, honestly, great and brilliant stuff at times. And if you haven't read Dandelion Dynasty, go read it. Trust me, go read Dandelion Dynasty, especially Grace of Kings. Grace of Kings is brilliant. Truly, 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 truly brilliant. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking about Dandelion Dynasty. I do recommend it, though, to anyone who's willing to give it a shot. And now for what I am reading. That is Empire of the Damned. And what I am loving so much about this so far is I've only really read one chapter. I'm about 30-ish pages in, I think. Is that so? Yep, that's right. And what I love is the characterization of the vampires. And we just got a little bit more into their daily life here at the start. And what I loved so much about that was how we see these people indulge in sin. So, if you know the 7 deadly sins, it's gluttony, wrath, oh my god, envy, lust, all these things, pride, and there's 2 more that I can't think of right now. But sloth, and there's one more oh god, what's the one I missed? Anyways, here we see so many aspects of them just indulging in sin. I just think it's very interesting. But we see them indulging in lust. We see them indulging in all these things, in pride, and it's so fascinating because throughout the first book, we see them embodied. We see them described as embodiments of sin. They are disgusting, leeches. And I love the fact that here we are confirming that. These are people who have not only fallen from grace, but they indulge in sin in every aspect of their way of life. And it's so fascinating. I loved that. And anyways, I don't have too much to talk about here because I kind of just started the book. But I'm so excited because I loved book 1, and book 2, book 3 is coming out in November. And trust me, I'm gonna talk about this stack, and then I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen in November and December, because I'm gonna be going on a generational run. Just trust me on this. Okay, so Empire of the Vampire, that is what I'm currently reading. And I also read one chapter of Kheld King, because, I mean, this is a fantastic series, and I need to continue it. So many aspects of Kheld King were so good in just this one chapter, because we follow this one character, and hearing her internal monologue, I got to see that there was actually a lot that I missed about the ending of the first book, and it's so insane how much I did miss, because the ending of the first book is so insanely impactful, not only emotionally, but now I know for the world at large here. It's insane. Now, once I'm done with Lord of Emperors, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish Empire of the Damned, and I'm going to read Lord of Emperors around the same time-ish. And then I'll finish both of those probably inside a week or so, like within a week. And once I'm done with both of those books, I'm going to read The Hidden City by Michelle West. Heard so many great series about this. This is the start of the Asalian saga, and I want to see what this is all about. And I mean, I want to read some more of these older fantasy series that didn't really get their chance in the limelight. I want to see what they're like and give them a chance to be talked about here and now. I really want to see what this is about, because I've heard so many great things, and how it delves into the psychological effects of what occurs in this book. So I'm very excited to check this out. I literally know nothing else other than the prose is beautiful, The dialogue is great, on par with Janny Wirtz, and so many things that have enticed me. So I've heard only good things, and I hopefully really enjoy Hidden City. I also got Shaman's Crossing, which is the first book in the Soldier's Son trilogy by Robin Hobb. I mean, it's Robin Hobb. I really had to get more. I had to, I want to get this whole trilogy. I really, really want to read this trilogy next year. So now that these are out of the way, I'm going to tell you all about my November-December plans. So when November starts, I'm probably going to start it off by reading Speaking Bones. Sounds about fair, right? And then I'm probably going to finish Speaking Bones, like, right before Shadows Upon Time release gala, which I'll be there, by the way, if you don't remember. I'm so excited for that. And I'm going to get my copy of Shadows Upon Time. And when I'm there, I am going to, of course, start reading Shadows Upon Time when I get back. So, Shadows Upon Time is going to be the next read, of course. I gotta read it day one, Or, sorry, day -1. Because it's coming out that Tuesday, and I will start reading it that Sunday, I think. That's probably what I'm thinking. And after Shadows Upon Time, I'm probably going to read Song of the Mysteries, which is the last book in the Wars of Light and Shadow series. If you can probably see it over there. Sorry, I'm not moving my left arm, by the way. It probably looks really weird, but my left arm's kind of injured right now, so I can't use it to point up there that well. Anyways, I am going to read Song of the Mysteries. And then after Song of the Mysteries, can you see that? No, you can't see. Hold on, let me move that. There you go. Guardians of the Moon! And then after Guardians of the Moon, Dragonbone Chair! And I think not only Dragonbone... Oh, yeah, and then, of course, Empire of the Dawn! I'm going to be reading that. And so, like, I'm going to be going on a generational run at the end of this year. Like, I am going to be, like, sprinting through Wars of Light and like these great series, and I'm so excited to do that. Anyways, I hope you all are having an absolutely fantastic day. I have not much more to talk about, so hope you all are having a fantastic day. Tell me, have you read any of these books? Do you have anything good to say about them? Or what are you all reading? I'd love to hear it. And that's all I've got for today, so I will see you all next time.